What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Shadowlands video. How are you all doing? Good to see your beautiful faces. We're going to be talking about Upper Karazhan run that I did, plus 15. And I'm going to review the video for you. I'm going through every dungeon, try and give you guys some tips and tricks on how to do these dungeons a little bit better if you're struggling with them. Some of them seem to be tuned pretty high, and they can provide, a little bit of a struggle, right? So I want to come in here and help you guys deal with some of the issues you might be having in all these dungeons. And we're going to do Upper Karazhan today. So we're just going to jump straight into it. This is also one of the best dungeons. Oh, no, that's a different dungeon. This is a plus 15. So again, this is pretty tough. If you understand, a plus 15 in Season 4 is like a plus 19 last season. So if you're struggling to do like plus 15 so far in the season, don't worry about it. It's not because you're bad necessarily. It's just because it gets bumped up in difficulty. If you didn't know that, it does. A 15 last season is now like a 19 this season, but obviously it only looks like a 15 now. If you do a 19 in this season, it's going to be like a 23 or something. Like it just scales. So
Sorry, Pig. It's still bad.
Oh yeah, Hero was trying to talk here, and he was all squirrel. It's really funny.
What to tell you, it's real bad.
He's just like a full squirrel.
I got the heal mirror, the spell mirror.
There it is.
I
That's
love
really-
it.
that's
Can we
so-
do the whole dungeon like this?
So funny. Anyway, the first couple mobs are there is a Dreadlord in here that you need to kill, and then they've actually recently moved the next mob, which is there was another single mob up here, and it used to be just a regular guy, but they switched it to him to be a Dreadlord now. So this is the mini-boss. The Dreadlord mini-boss is already right at the beginning of the dungeon, right at the top of these stairs here, okay? So just understand that. This is going to be your Dreadlord mini-boss. He does all the different abilities, where he spawns a bat that's going to try and hypnotize somebody. There it is right there. He does Shadow Eruption, and then he also does this Blood Siphon ability, which you need to, once you break through his shield, you have to kick the Blood Siphon so that he stops healing, okay? There's the bat doing hypnosis. You got to make sure you stun it or paralyze it or whatever. There's Shadow. We must have missed the last blood ability. I'll show you the blood one right here. He does it right after. Here's Blood Siphon. He gets a shield. You got to punch your way through this shield before you can kick it, right? So we're punching him. We're punching him. There it is. Now it's kickable. See how it's turned green? Now I can kick it and get rid of it. So that's what you got to be doing.
I want Tim Pono to hurry up.
Okay? Then you're going to move forward.
I need a squirrel.
A couple more single mobs. The entire opening part of this dungeon is just big single mobs that you have to deal with. This guy does a big arcane damage. You got to watch out for that. Then you're going to get to the first boss room, but there's a bunch of ads. You need to clear them out first. So Lynx actually pulls like all of the ads here, which is a little bit dangerous. If you're just new to this dungeon, you don't have to pull this entire pack together, but it will save you some time. And there's a Dreadlord in there. But there's a lot of mobs in here. You will pull a boss as well. He'll disappear. As soon as you walk him through the door, he'll disappear. But this is a massive pull. You have to be kind of careful with this stuff, but especially with Sanguine. But we are doing lots of damage. We got Kaz, and Lynx is doing tons of damage on his bear. Look at this. He's healing for 23k, and he's DPSing for 120, 130k. Just crazy numbers on Lynx there.
What did you say, Fabian? You walked through the sleep circle and...
As ascended.
Oh.
It did register.
Because you were flying? Is that why?
I was in a proc descendants.
Oh, okay.
And
It just healed it all, yeah.
So these last couple mobs, they take a little bit longer to kill, kind of annoying. But now we've killed all the trash, okay? So, now we got the Curator. This guy basically spawns some little mana ads, and you have to make sure you kill them. And then every once in a while, he's going to just, like, explode and put arcane puddles on the ground, okay? So you're slowly eating up part of the room. You have to start at the back of the room and work your way forward so that you don't run out of space. Also, you don't want to lust on pull like I do here. Make a pretty critical mistake here of lusting on pull. So, yeah, that's my fault. Should not have done that. You want to lust in a minute because he has a mechanic where he takes double damage, and that's when you want to be popping lust. Okay, there's the arcane puddles right there. They leave big lightning on the ground. You want to be very careful not to step on those.
I can take 2 more before I cast.
Right.
As soon as it goes off, if there's more left, it just will reset.
Then he's going to do one more round of puddles here, and he starts casting Evocation. When he's casting Evocation, you can do double damage to him, basically. So you really want to pump him during the Evocation time here. Okay? This is when you want to get all your damage out, basically. You're just surviving for the rest of the time, and then you're pumping him during the Evocation stuff, okay?
Zuko,
Yeah, I blew my load early. I blew it early.
Yeah, I lost it way
I know-
too
I know-
early.
I know you're just
so.
highlighting the fact that I did that, and that's fine.
So anyway, then he's going to be almost dead. I mean, if you do all your damage in the Evocation window, he'll basically be dead. And another Evocation at the end here, and you're just going to
Overload
pump
in
him.
progress.
We did 17.2k, by the way. This is with the Necrolord Frost build, which I am going to do a guide on later today. So then you're going to run through here, and everything's upside down. You're going to notice you're actually on the roof. It's like flipped upside down. Karazhan's really, really fun place. What we do is we skip this guy. These guys are really annoying. These like Eridar green summoner dudes. Very, very annoying. If you have to invis pot, do it.
I'm invisible.
But if you don't have an invis pot, you can run around this corner just like we did there, okay? This next ad is also one you might want to skip because he's very annoying and he does a lot of damage. There was a strategy that Lynx and Fatman were trying to employ here, and I don't know what it is actually because it didn't really work that well. But he will turn different parts of the floor into like red flames, like a checkerboard. But he'll also teleport to to an ally. So you have to kind of stack up together or else he'll teleport to somebody. But he does an AoE cleave, which I was getting hit by. So he's just a really annoying mob. If you don't have to fight him, then don't fight him, basically. But if you have to fight him, that's fine. Just kind of, you have to just do it properly. And pulling him up here seemed to be a little bit better because you avoid all the checkers on the floor. But it's just an annoying fight altogether. So then you're going to run through this corridor, this twisting corridor, and you're going to run to the Shade of Medivh. This is the next boss fight.
You know, I hope you're here in spirit.
Okay? So this boss fight is almost entirely about kicking the boss. All Medivh does is cast spells. He'll cast arcane like barrage or / missiles on the tank, and it does a buttload of damage. He'll cast a frost ability, which will freeze one person in place, and the only way to release that person from the frost is to hit them with a ring of fire, which is the third ability he casts. It's like a little ring of fire that goes around a player. It does damage. So Infernal Bolt, that's the ring of fire I'm talking about. That's one ability. Okay. This is Frostbite. This is the one that freezes people in place. This is the most important ability that you need to kick. You need to kick this ability, okay? Then there's Piercing Missiles. Watch Lynx's health here. It goes way down. It does a lot of damage. So you have to be really ready for that. I would argue that if you have people who are on top of their kick game and they like are ready to go, you need to have somebody kicking the arcane ability just for the tank. It's going to save so much damage from hitting the tank. I promise you. It's probably a good idea just to kick it. But here comes the next Frostbite. He just keeps casting, guys. He doesn't stop casting. He doesn't hit with melee at all. He's just a caster. So again, here's Piercing Missiles. Watch Lynx's health. He gets absolutely wrecked here. And then Frostbite, and then he's going to do a major mechanic. Medivh will do a couple of different major mechanics. I just want to emphasize what's going to happen here. Either he's going to do Flame Wreath, or he's going to do like Blizzard, some sort of big AoE Blizzard. Basically, the Flame Wreath one, he's going to target 2 players, and they're going to get a big flaming circle around them. If they move, everybody dies. Let me repeat that. Anybody who gets Flame Wreath on them, if you move, you die. If you have a Flame Wreath that comes in contact with another player, you also die. So you cannot have those Flame Wreaths. Here it is right here. Flame Wreath. He's casting it right now. So we all spread out. Okay? Now, it's on Fatman, and it's on the DH right here. I can't even see. There, you can see the little red circle around the Demon Hunter. It's right here. This red flame right here. That is Flame Wreath. The Demon Hunter looks like he's moving because that's how his abilities work, but he's not. I cannot move near him. He cannot move at all. The people with the Flame Wreath cannot move at all. You can see in the corner, Fat Man over here has a Flame Wreath right now. So that's how that mechanic works. You basically just have to endure it. You have to let it go. It's going to tick for like about 10 or 12 seconds. It's just going to do damage, and your healer just has to heal through it. That's all you can do there. Okay? Here comes the next sort of intermission part of this phase. He splits into 3 guardian images, and they fly to the edges right this. And you need to kick these images. They're going to cast Arcane Bolt. You need to interrupt them. It does so much damage. So my strategy for you would be to say split your group up and have one person at least who has a kick. Have your 3 DPS at least take one of these each and kick it as best they can. Okay? On top of that, then you want to just blow them up as quickly as you possibly can. Okay? Once you kill all 3 images, Medivh will come back. And he's going to continue casting Inferno Bolt. He's going to cast Frostbite. And he's going to cast the Arcane Missiles at the tank. Here comes Frostbite. We use too many of our kicks right in a row. So somebody gets hit with Frostbite. It happens to be the DH. You can see he's frozen in place. I get Inferno Bolt right away, which is okay. I can put Inferno Bolt on top of the DH, and it will break him free. There we go. We broke him free. Okay? See that? So that's how that kind of works. Then the Piercing Missiles are going off again. And you just want to DPS him down. I think he does his big frozen ability at the end. I just want to show it off really quickly here. Ceaseless Winter is the other major mechanic. He'll either do the Flaming Wreath or he'll do Ceaseless Winter. Sorry, I can't talk. If he gets his Ceaseless Winter cast off, you have to continuously jump while doing damage. You have to be jumping. Always jumping. If you stop jumping, you'll start getting stacks of Ceaseless Winter, and it will, like, slow you down, and it will kill you. So you have to keep jumping. This is the really fun transition part of the dungeon where you jump into a hole, and you slowly fall until you fall and fall and fall down onto this bookshelf, and you realize that you have become tiny. You are now a very, very small individual. You're smaller than a book, in fact. It's a really cool transition part. You can just jump off this cliff. If you don't know, you don't need to slowly jump your way down. You can just jump all the way to the bottom, and you won't take any fall damage, okay? Just so you know. There are rats here that are kind of aggressively patrolling. Be very careful with these rats. See how quickly they... There, that guy just ran right into us. That guy's actually a Nethrezim, so you want to kill him to get the buff. But otherwise, the rats will just patrol, like, very aggressively. They'll just be sprinting across the ground. You have to kind of watch where they're coming from.
Yeah, I realized that too after doing this like 3 or 4 times. He's a wizard.
So we run through here, and then there's a sprinting rat, and it runs right into Lynx here. So unfortunately, we do have to kill him. You can skip all of these rats, though. You don't even have to kill them. So ideally, that's what you should do. They do a little stampede ability. See those rats coming through? They also poison the tank, which is very, very nasty. So the rats are like a real time sink, and I would argue if you don't have to fight them, do not fight them, okay? We get one more Nethrezim guy, and then we fight the boss. This is the Mana Worm boss, Mana Devourer. Basically, he's going to create these arcane circles on the ground. There's one forming right there, okay? You can see that. Then he's going to spawn orbs that are going to start coming in. See these orbs right here? You want to collect these orbs. Really, you don't want to collect any more than 2 or 3 possibly. I end up getting 3. Then what you need to do is go stand in the arcane circle to clear your buff. So you have like a debuff on you right now. You can see it in the right corner of my screen here. Those are the 3 orbs that I sucked up. Those give me a debuff. They'll do damage over time that your healer will have to deal with. So they do give you like a damage buff, which is very, very cool, but they do a lot of ticking damage if you're not ready for it. So basically, you just rinse and repeat. You collect orbs, and then you're going to drop those orbs off in the shield like I'm doing right now. I'm going to lose part of my debuff here. I only lost 1, so I actually need to go back in and lose some more of my debuff here. Otherwise, I'm going to start dying. So I drop off 1, a couple stacks here. I'm down to 2. Okay, then I come back out. Having two stacks of the debuff is not the end of the world. That's manageable for the healer. Having 4 or 5 is like way too much, okay? So then that's it. You just rinse and repeat. You soak up orbs, you lose some of your debuff if you need to, and then you keep going from there. Okay, then once you kill the Mana Devourer, you're going to go back to normal size. Okay, this is really, really cool. And then there's a few more ads that you have to kill in this zone after the cinematic finishes. Link's actually pulled every single ad here, which is not really the play unless you have absolutely Giga Chad AoE damage, which he did, but the rest of us maybe didn't. So you have to have a little bit more DPS, and we all end up dying here and doing this section. This is where we have all of our deaths in this dungeon, and this is where I'm going to say the timer on Upper Karazhan is actually very forgiving, because we end up getting about, how many deaths do we get here? 15, I think it looks like. We get 15 deaths just right there. We'd had like a flawless run up until that point, so don't do what we did. Here's the last section. My best recommendation for this last section is to skip it with invis pots. You should absolutely 100% skip this section because it's very annoying. I didn't have an invis pot because I'm an idiot. I forgot to grab one, and so we have to end up fighting here. If you do have to fight here, there's like, you're being bombarded the entire time with those green swirlies, and then these Eridar guys are just really annoying. So this Slayer does like a couple of AoE moves. Heavy Smash is one of them. That pulls everybody in. It'll pull you into it, which is really annoying, and it does damage. And then this infused Pyromancer will summon like an imp, and then the imp is really frustrating to deal with. He also does Fell Fireball, which just does damage. But there's an imp in the back there you can see right down here in the corner. He spawns, he basically puts these green orbs on the ground, and you have to go soak these green orbs, which is a really frustrating thing to have to do because there's a lot of damage. Lynx ends up dying, but the main mechanic here is that if you have to do this, which you just shouldn't, but if you have to, this Pyromancer summons an imp. This imp puts those green balls on the ground. You have to go soak those green balls till they disappear. That's the main thing that you need to do there, all while watching the bombardments that are coming through. So we end up doing this section like a lot, and we get up to 29 deaths, I think, which is really, really sad. But we do, and we push through, and we get it done. You can see me soaking the orbs right here. They get smaller and smaller as you soak them. But it's just a very frustrating thing to have to deal with, guys. You should just skip this, honestly. It's one of the most cancerous places to deal with. So we end up getting him done, and you're going to get to the chess boss next. This boss is really fun. It's very, very simple. It's a two-phase fight, okay?
Just kill one of these ads, right? And then
what you need to do is alternate between killing one of the pieces on the board and then killing the king. So right now, the king is basically invincible. Once you kill any of the pieces that are around the king, so the knight or the queen can die, or the bishop or the rook. Once we kill it, now the boss is vulnerable, and we can go kill the boss. So we're gonna go kill him right now. You can see he's kind of slouched over, and he's taking extra damage. You can actually see there's a debuff on him right now down here in this corner. This debuff is about to expire. It's got 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now the debuff is gone. Now the king is back to doing his thing. Now we need to switch back and kill one of the ads once again. So this is where you want to pick a bishop or a knight, whatever you want to pick. Just go kill them.
I'm on the bishop.
And then you're going to make the king vulnerable again, and you can go back to killing the king. So you just flip-flop back and forth between those two, okay? That's how you do it.
We got time. I know the last fight.
Now the rest of the chessboard will create itself, and you can run through this door to the final boss, which is Viz'aduum, the Watcher. Viz'aduum. So this is a 3-part fight. It's going to start on this platform with this guy right here. And what you need to do is DPS him. You're going to kick Burning Blast. He's going to target somebody with Fell Beam. The command ship acquires Lynx as the target of Fell Beam. It's right there. So Lynx is our tank. If you get Fell Beam on you, you need to run out of the area as quickly as possible. So Lynx starts running right now. He's going to get a Fell Beam that's going to follow him. You can see it right there. There's the beam. It's very, very much like in Gambit. When you're fighting the very first boss of Gambit, you have that yellow line that follows you around. Exactly the same mechanic. Then the boss is going to cast Disintegrate. He's going to target a player and focus on that spot where you're standing and start casting Disintegrate. If you move out of the way, you can dodge the Disintegrate. Okay? So he does a big beam. So there we go. He just alternates between Burning Blast, and he does Disintegrate again, and then there's a beam. So you want to make sure that you're putting the beams in the right spot. And there's also some orbs that will spawn as well. Orders of Bombardment. Here comes Disintegrate. Just get out of the way of Disintegrate. Very soon he's going to spawn a portal. Here comes his demonic portal. He's going to... Now, unfortunately, he did it right in the green shit. So now we have to run into that green stuff. But you just run and jump in, and you're going to get teleported to phase 2. Okay? Up on the next ship, you're going to pursue this guy. Now, this is a bit of a, like, gauntlet run. You just want to run. If you run through the middle, he'll hit you with Disintegrate. So you have to be very careful here. If you run through the sides, you're going to get zapped, like I'm getting zapped right now. You can stop in the middle and heal yourself. But you don't really want to get hit with Disintegrate like the Demon Hunter just did because he's an idiot. So you have to kind of like dip in and out of the middle. Run through the middle, and then right when he's about to cast Disintegrate, dip out. So he just gets hit again. The Demon Hunter had a really rough time in this fight. So you're going to DPS the boss down in this section as best you can. He does have some new mechanics here, so I'm going to show you in a second. He does Burning Blast. He does Disintegrate. Now, he's added a new mechanic to us. Actually, I'm going to back up just so we can see it when he casts it. Sorry, guys. He's going to cast it right here. The new mechanic is that he's put it on me right now. So on my screen's going all purple, okay? It's this little orb that's right here. What you need to do is get away from the group and get dispelled. It's the same thing that actually happened on the first platform, but now we're much more closely clumped together, so it's very dangerous. When I get dispelled, it's going to launch a bunch of orbs out from my position. There they go right there. So you have to watch. You cannot be standing near your allies, or else you're going to be in big, big trouble. It happens to 2 people, okay? So you're going to do that. Then you're going to go through the next demonic portal to phase 3. You're going to land on the platform. This phase doesn't have zaps. It has a bunch of ads. So the tank needs to run forward and grab all the ads together, bring them to the boss. And then the boss is channeling an ability called Stabilize Rift. And you need to assign somebody to kick that once it gets down to the very end. So Lynx is going to kick it once he's done channeling at the very, very bottom of the channel. You want to hold it until it gets to the very bottom. Okay? So it's about 4 or 5 seconds away. 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Now, he didn't even need to kick it because we killed the boss. The boss is pretty weak. But if you do need to kick it on a higher key, for example, on Tyrannical, you'll need to kick that part of the boss, okay? To make sure that he doesn't get that cast off, or you will die. And that's Upper Karazhan, guys. That's how it works. So, not bad at all. Basically, let me just do a little rundown. At the very beginning of the dungeon, you're going to run into the Dreadlord Miniboss very quickly. He's about 3 mobs in, which is very nice because it means you get the biggest bonus on your stat buff like right away. So that's kind of cool. Then you're going to fight the Curator, who, again, you're going to start him at the back of the room. He's going to put those lightning puddles down on the ground. You're going to work him up towards the front of the room. When he starts casting Evocation, that's when you want to lust and blow him up. Okay, that's the Curator. Then you're kind of working your way through some ads that are really annoying, like mini-boss ads, and you're going to have to probably kill them or skip them, whichever you want to do. When you get to the Shade of Medivh, you're looking at a kicking boss. All you have to do is kick Frostbite, and I would argue you should kick the Arcane ability on the tank. Then he's going to split into 3. You want to kill those ads and kick them. That fight is all about interrupts. You need to have really, really good interrupts in order to do that fight properly, okay? If you get Flame Wreath around you, don't move. If you get Ceaseless Winter, you need to be moving all the time. You need to be jumping up and down the entire time, okay? Once you get to the Mana Devourer, you basically need to soak a couple orbs and then drop your debuff off in those little arcane zones that are on the ground. That will get rid of your debuff, okay? For this last boss fight, then there's the mini-boss fight, the chess mini-boss fight. And that one, again, you just kill the ad until the king is vulnerable, then kill the king. Then kill an ad, and then kill the king. You bounce back and forth, okay? Then you're going to have Viz'aduum at the very end here. And, of course, this is just basically dodging a bunch of mechanics. If you get the laser beam on top of you, take it out of the group. If you're going to get the big disintegrate beam that's coming, you need to stand out of that, of course. And then if you get the debuff on yourself with all the orbs that are going to spawn, just get away from the group so that when the orbs spawn, they have enough time to react to the orbs that are coming to hit them, okay? And that's the entire dungeon in a nutshell. So that's Upper Karazhan. There isn't really too many tips and tricks for this dungeon. It's very linear. What you are going to have to decide on this dungeon is when do you want to use your invis pots, because there's way too much trash to kill. So it's up to you. I would argue using your invisibility ability pot at the end, like right before you get to the chess mini game. That like bridge area that's like that I was telling you was really annoying. You should just skip that with invis pots. It's the most efficient way to use your skip, in my opinion. So that'll be up to you guys to decide. Talk amongst your group. When do you want to use your invis pots? Because the rest of the fight, the rest of this dungeon is very linear. It's very linear. It's not like a gambit where you can just pick and choose whichever mobs you want to kill. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really, really appreciate it. As I said in my last video, we are actually at 2,000 subscribers, guys. We've made it to 2K subs. So I am going to be doing a 24-hour stream. You can see it right here. We're at 2.02. So keep those subs coming. I appreciate it. Tell your grandma, get her to sub to me. But otherwise, guys, we're going to be doing a 24-hour Twitch stream. So stay tuned for the details on that. I'm going to put the details on my Discord. I'm going to announce what it's all happening on my Discord. So if you don't have the link to my Discord, it's actually right here on the channel. You can just click it right here in this corner, okay? So thank you so much again for watching, guys. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.